I don't know whether to laugh at this story or feel sorry and heartbroken. A Muslim woman in Nigeria, Rodia Omotoyosi Mikhail, I apologize for destroying her name, just become a lawyer. At her call to bar, she wear full niqab. Only her eyes are showing. And top of that, the old British court wing, right? So you've got the symbol of Western law sitting on the top of a symbol of Islamic covering. And I'm looking at this and I'm just like, I hope this is not giving the impression to the world. See, Muslim women can be lawyers. Islam doesn't oppress women. Hijab and niqab empowering women. I really hope this is not, as you are looking at this picture, it is not giving you that impression. Because simply that impression is not real. If any of you had that impression, it is not real. Just think very practical, right? What does lawyer do? What is job of lawyer? Lawyer studies law. They build arguments and stand before the judge, says, listen to me, look at my evidence. It assumes your mind works. It assumes your testimony matters. It assumes your testimony is worthy, right? But in Islam, in court, two women's testimony is equal to one man's testimony. The excuse is, if one of them are going to forget, you've got the second one who is going to remind her, of course. You know better than me, just remember Mohammed Hijab's examples, right? Man never forgets. Man never forgets. It's the woman. One woman will forget and then you've got the second woman. Two brains are going to become brain of one man, equal to the brain of one man. So, women are being treated as less reliable than men. You've got the hadith, right? Women are called deficient in mind and in religion. That's the basic Islamic teaching. So what we have here, a woman who clearly has a brain. She passed her law school, right? Pretty difficult, but she passed it. Standing as a lawyer while her own religion simply screams out and then says, your mind is weak. Your testimony is only half of a man. And you know what? That's not empowerment at all. That is simply screaming and screaming contradiction. And then also think about it. She's not wearing just a hijab. She's wearing a niqab. You can't even see her face, right? The idea is women must cover themselves so that they are not tempting men, so they are not seen as whores, so they are not seen and abused. If man is being tempted, it's woman's fault. If woman is being abused, it is woman's fault. In many Muslim countries, if she refuses to put her hijab on, even the way you put the hijab, but you didn't put the way your government requires or your Sharia requires, what happens? You get beaten, you get jailed, and you even, in certain cases, you got murdered, right? Just turn your eyes and then remember what happened in Iran. A young girl, simply because she didn't put her hijab correctly, jailed and then murdered. In Canada, a woman was strangled by her father with her hijab because she refused to wear it. That's Canada, not even Islamic State. You've got the same cases in Iran, Sudan, Egypt, Australia. Women have beaten, whipped, fired from their jobs, even killed because they simply refused to cover up. And that is simply the reality behind Islamic fabric. That fabric woman covers themselves. It is not a choice. It is especially not a free choice. It is often forced and fear. And anyway, so picture of this Nigerian woman lawyer, what does it tell us? I think before we acknowledge anything, we just need to acknowledge first thing. As a lawyer, even with that fabric, she simply says Muhammad is a liar. She's not a deficient, right? She's not a deficient. As a lawyer, she's destroying teachings of Muhammad. She says, yep, my prophet got it wrong. And then same for Allah, right? My God got it wrong. She's clever woman. Now says, Islam got it wrong. I am the evidence for it. But also we need to acknowledge she's a successful woman. Her success is real. She worked hard. She passed. And she's now a lawyer. But her outfit, her dress code speaks quite loud, right? Woman must be covered head to toe. Women's face are dangerous. The system that punishes uncovered woman is good and should walk into the courtroom. The wing on her head that simply stands for legal tradition that over time moved towards equality. But her niqab, her fabric, stands for religion system that openly says women are weaker and must be controlled. Putting them all together, first the niqab and then the wing, doesn't fix Sharia. It just hides it under nice photo, let's say. If women's right means you can be a lawyer as long as you show your submission to ideology of Islam that calls you deficient and cuts your testimony into half, that is very, very strange definition of rights. Her achievement is real, but the system, ideology, religion that she's promoting is very, very dangerous. And you know better than me, Sharia, the law that puts that niqab together, is not a joke. Here's the good news though. The God of Bible doesn't call women deficient. He calls them his image bearer. In Christ, men and women stand side by side at the foot of the cross, equally loved, equally forgiven, and equally welcomed. Islam gives you law and fear. The gospel gives you a father who delights to pour out grace, who invites you into joy of knowing his son, and who sends his spirit so that you can live in freedom, not under terror, in freedom. Christ sets you free.